about them. All right, I got 15 minutes. Please don't pay no attention to my hair because y'all, I'm a wild flower. I'm a wild girl. I'm an elegant flower, but I'm a wild flower. And so oftentimes I be coming at the house and I want to be paying attention to the environment. Damn bug. And the environment is me in this case. Girl, I did not see that all this gel had flaked like this, and now I'm out in the Publix looking like I don't bathe or I don't take care of myself. And you know, I actually do, but like I said, girl, sometimes I don't be giving a darn, and it's always just my edges. But you know what, I think it's my edges because when I be laying down my baby Huros, I be giving her a little extra care because I don't be wanting her to move throughout the day. I want her to be as stiff as a board. I want them baby hairs to be as stiff as a charcuterie. Okay, I'm working with what I got here. I actually went and did a spontaneous pop-up visit on one of my homegirls last night, and it was actually very, very therapeutic and very right on time. The thing about it is like, I don't always get to link up with my friends spontaneously. I don't get to link up with them all the time like that. We usually try to plan it, and then we all know how plans get, especially when you broke and you poor. Because baby, if the engine fuck up, oh my bad, I said I was gonna stop cussing. If the engine if the engine go out, baby, you can put them plans on the shelf. If that light bill just a little bit higher than what you had been expecting, you can put them long-term plans on the shelf. We live responsibly over here, but this was one of the very few times where I was able to have that spontaneous link up. And I started working on my painting, but I didn't finish. So when I showed one of my friends what I was working with, he was like, is that a bowling pin? It's supposed to be a wine bottle. So that's that. But enough of the introduction, enough of the fluff. Let me talk about what I came to talk about, and that is choose wisdom. Choose wisdom. Because you're gonna be faced with so many things in life, especially when you're trying to pivot. This is not the same side of the paper towel. I just want to let that be known. I'm not a nasty girl. I'm not a nasty girl. What did I say? Yeah, okay. Whenever you decide to do something different, you're gonna be faced with a lot of opinions. You're gonna be faced with a lot of people's projection. You're going to face a lot of people's criticism, and some people are going to intentionally be trying to deter you because they know the truth. Like, they live in the very thing that they claim that they love so much, but when you decide to do something different, all of a sudden, you know, they got all of these cons about why you shouldn't go in the direction that you should go in. And it's just mainly because of the age-old statement, misery loves company. They don't want to be miserable by themselves, so they can easily and intentionally deter you from going in the path or walking down the path or trailblazing the journey that you want to be on. But it's just simply because they know that what they living in is not really where they want to be, and you know it as well. That's why you're trying to do something different. You're also going to have some people who are going to thwart your plans and things, and they're going to do it unintentionally. And they're only doing it because they don't know anything else. They live within the limits that were placed on them. They don't want to make anybody mad at the expense of upsetting themselves over time until they decide to do something different. they're really talking to you from the standpoint of trying to make sure that you don't damage yourself. And when a person is concerned about you damaging yourself, it's hardly ever about you. It's more about them, because what they're really saying behind all of that concern is this: I just don't want you to go out here and do something that's going to cause you to stir up chaos, and then I gotta come and be a part of it. Especially if it's somebody who you are in a relationship with, whether it be a parent or a spouse or, you know, maybe a friend. You know, these relationships that we have that are a little bit more intimate than the surface level, like a colleague or a business partner or associate or something, right? Or a client. These relationships that you are committed to, you know, we are all deciding to be linked with one another. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what they're telling you out here in the world today. We have a moral duty and a moral obligation to love our family. Okay? Put up your boundaries, you know, do all of that. But I have always told people for a very long time, I don't believe in the cutting off stuff. That's not me. My family didn't cut me off when I was going through some stuff. Have we gone through some things, and has it been, you know, almost like a mother freaking standoff when it comes down to opinions? Yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, I don't choose to cut them off, but I do choose at this point to continue to go down my path and go down my journey with their best interest in mind, but not letting their decisions and what they choose to do distract me from what it is that I got going on over here. In so many words, what I'm saying is this: I'm always going to be a place where they can come when they want to do right according to my rules. Yeah, we live in that era now. I'm over acting like E. Kane. Yeah, girl, we on that type of time now, girl. We there. But you know, they're always welcome. You know, my house, my rules. So mi casa, su casa. But my house, my rules. Okay. And so they're gonna always have, I want my life to be at a place to where when I am comfortable, those around me are comfortable as well. You know, I want to set up a life where if people who I choose to have a more committed and intimate relationship with, and not, you know, sexually, but, you know, I want to be able to make sure that they're good as long as they following these rules over here. So that's what I mean when I say sometimes it's a standoff, and sometimes, you know, what they want and what I want are two totally different things. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to cut them off. It doesn't mean that conflict is going to arise. Absolutely. Does it mean that stress levels are going to increase? Absolutely. But they're my niggas. So, and they're crazy as hell. It's part of the reason why I'm crazy. You know, apple don't fall too far from the what? From the palm tree. But with all of that being said, you're going to have a lot of opinions coming your way. You're going to have a lot of things that are just not right. It's just not going with you. You're smart enough to make a decision. You were smart enough to come to the point where you realize, hey, you know what? This ain't really what I want. I don't want this. Y'all can have this if y'all want it, but I don't want this. I'll move on, okay? Y'all want the Cape Cod, and I want the red snapper, okay? And that's fine, because then I started finding out that y'all really just wanted fish sticks. You know, y'all didn't really want Cape Cod. Y'all wanted fish sticks. But y'all only called it Cape Cod because, you know, the packaging was cute and it called it Cape Cod too. But we know deep down inside that ain't really no Cape Cod. But either way, I don't want the Cape Cod or the fish sticks. I specifically want the red snapper. Some people are going to, I mean, my bad. Not some people. We're not talking about the people no more. We're talking about you. You've came to that understanding. You came to that realization. And you've come to that realization because, you know, maybe it was by experience. Maybe you were somewhere and divinely walked into a situation where somebody introduced you to red snapper. And you was like, oh, no, I like this. I really like this. I want this. Okay. you might have just read about a red snapper. You might have just got some education and some knowledge on a red snapper. But the fact that you were able to arrive to a point where you realized that you wanted something different, now you're going to be learning more about what it takes to get what you want. You're going to start naturally looking for things that align with what you actually want. And so you're going to know better about that thing that you want than the people who don't want that thing with you. Okay? What that means is that you're going to have to trust the wisdom of the things that you learn that are tied to the things that you want. And there are going to be so many distractions, because remember what I said earlier. You got people who don't want to continue to choose something that they really don't want alone. They want somebody else to choose that with them so they can have some company, because at least company makes it a little bit better. Company make misery a little bit better, but it don't take it away. And then you're going to have people on the other side of it that are just going to be afraid of what might happen if you go do something that they don't understand. But neither one of those are your business. Neither one of those scenarios are your problem. Not my problem. Niggas, not my problem. But also, you are required to give everybody grace for what it is that they feel. Because them feeling a way about what you want to do is cuckoo, number one. And number two, it ain't got nothing to do with you. Not a thing. Okay? Not a damn thing. So, trust the wisdom of the people who took the path that you want to take as well. Who went through the hard lessons. Who bumped their behinds. Who scraped their knees. And who tore up their nail beds. Trying to get to the place to even be able to discover red snapper. They may not like red snapper as much as you do, and that's fine. They may not eat it all the time. You may want red snapper all the time, and that's fine. The world is so big. The system is so opportunistic. Your possibilities are so wide and so grand that you literally can do whatever you want to do. Okay? But that doesn't mean that doing whatever you want to do doesn't come with consequence. And so when we trust wisdom, what we do when we trust wisdom and when we choose wisdom is that we're saying, I hear exactly what you're saying, and I'm smart enough to choose what's better for me, despite what I think might be the best thing for me right now. Because oftentimes, what is that a caterpillar? I have never seen a caterpillar walk in real life, bro. That thing is just going. You know, a lot of times the distractions are other people's opinions. They have nothing to do with the way that we think. They have nothing to do with the way that you think. Because of what you want, you would never even have some of the things that you think, you would have never even thought it, because it's not in alignment with what you actually want and where you're actually trying to go. So as smart people, regardless of what we try to do, we understand that intellect goes hand in hand with wisdom, and people who are smart, it's triangulation here, people who are smart choose the wisdom. They trust the wisdom of those who came before them. They don't focus so much on, well, did you eat red snapper every day? And what lake did you get it from? Or did you get it from a lake? Did you get it in the sea? Did you get it in the pond? No. They don't focus on those details. They focus on the wisdom. And wisdom is the thing that keeps happening over and over and over and over again with evidence that pushes us stronger into the area of saying scientifically, let's put that in there, scientifically, this must be true. And if it is true, truth is always greater for everybody overall. Truth is always the greatest good overall. And so when you start getting those conflicting opinions, beliefs, ideas, and things that go against what you, first of all, inherently know, second of all, fundamentally know, and third of all, what you know and what you're learning as you're going towards what it is that your foundation and inherently good person has a desire and a vision for, As you start going towards those knowings, you need to trust the things that will eliminate the most consequences in your life. Wisdom is not always about the good. I'll say it this way. Wisdom will always route you back to good. You will stay in a cycle of good when you choose wisdom. When you start to learn how to choose to do what people before you told you to do and what they told you not to do. That doesn't mean that every single time somebody tells you something is a conflict of opinion or a conflict of belief. As you know more about what it is that you want, you're going to be able to discern what's BS and what's legitimate. Sometimes you are going to have to make a move that is specific to you, but things that you know inherently and fundamentally are not right, and a person comes to you and they try to convince you that it's right, now that you finally had a discovery that it's not right. I mean, now that what am I trying to say? When people come to you and they try to convince you that the things that you know are not right and don't belong with what you're trying to do and who you are and where you're trying to go, when they come and try to convince you of that, when you're in a place where you've kind of discovered some things that may or may not be supporting those beliefs that are going to distract you, because they come up. Okay, let me just say that. They definitely come up, because when you don't know, when you're ignorant, all information that you receive, you prioritize it in some type of way. But sometimes we get information, and when we start to actually pay more attention to it and focus on it a little bit more, we start to find out that that information actually contradicts who we are inherently, which are good people, and what we believe fundamentally, which is whatever you grew up believing that has got you to this point in your life right now. Okay? If your belief system was faulty up until this point, you wouldn't have survived. Doesn't mean that it's not, it doesn't mean that it's not imperfect. That's what I'm trying to say. But if it was flawed, you wouldn't even be here to have this conversation. We wouldn't even be talking right now. Okay? Those things are going to come up. But as you start to hear the wisdom that comes from those, and you admire them and you see what they're doing, when you start to hear the wisdom that comes from them, when you start to hear that warning, when you start to be told, hey, the consequence of this is heavy and great, and you are not the exception to the rule, and it's not going to be any different for you, because it ain't been no different for nobody else. And it's people in this world that are trying to convince you that it's different for them, but they're just not telling you the truth, and they're not showing you all the nooks and the crannies. Thank God for those who came along, and even in all of their glory and all of their majesty, still talked about the ugly sides and the nooks and the crannies. And yes, everything has a pro and a con, and everything has a good and a bad, and everything has a beauty and an ugly side. But some stuff just has a terrible con, a terrible ugly side, and a terrible path that you don't want to go down. And if you go down that path, you can expect to deal with what comes with going down that path. And we don't always have the information to know how long it's going to take to journey a path that works against us. So avoid it. That's not saying that every single time you're going to hit 100%, but try your hardest to get about a 99.99. We tracking? We on the same page? Okay, cool. All right. So that's everything that I had to say. I ran over time a little bit, and that's okay, because this is my phone and my video. But just choose wisdom. Choose what you know to be right. Don't challenge what other people have gone through, and God has used them to show us what it looks like to do it and not do it, to be on one side of it or the other side of it. Choose wisdom, baby. Choose wisdom.